Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to the Bologna Soccer Show presented by the Chicago Sports Bums. I am Bologna. I'm back with the Windy City Rebel, the Southside Bum, the man of 1,000 nicknames. It's Juanito. It's my cousin Johnny. Johnny, welcome back.
I'm happy. We were just talking before the show. I mean, the Sox are winning 6-1, so I mean, might as well just join in right now while you're, just turn down the volumes down, start listening to some soccer because it's going to be big. I mean, we got a lot to talk about here. I don't know if you want to talk about a little of the USA, Belgium, Mexico stuff, but
We
yeah,
could
we got a lot to talk about.
we could definitely recap since last week. Both of our teams got kicked out of the tournament, trounced. So yeah, we can kind of recap both Mexico and the United States, but I definitely want to look forward to this Final Four because last week we previewed Mexico and England, and we previewed United States and Belgium. We didn't get to talk about France, Argentina, Spain, or a little. We talked a little England, but the big boys are in the Final Four, and I feel like it's gonna make for some really good soccer games going forward. We only got three left. I know people say there's only 4 games left. There's only 3 games left. The consolation game, the third place game, that's a joke of a game. That should never even exist. A lot of the times, some teams will play for pride for the third place game, but it's a good way to get your young players or the people that didn't play some playing time in the World Cup. That's a joke of a game. There's only 3 games left.
I mean, name somebody that even wants to be like, all right, let's just say for some reason like the United States got in or Mexico got in. Well, that probably would be more of a like, hey, whoever comes in third place. But nobody talks about that. Nobody even wants to be like, yeah, we came in third place. Like it's such a like an honor. You got to come in first. You got to come or
Yeah,
even get to the show. Uh, Yeah, I agree. I don't know why they even do that, but I understand it's kind of like a competition. You have to have those, first place, second place. You got to stand on the podium.
the podium, the third
Yeah,
place, the bronze
yeah,
medal, if
the
you will.
old fucking school. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that I don't even think I've kind of prided myself on watching as many World Cup games as I can since 1994. I used to set up a VCR upstairs and downstairs for like the Korea one. Like I would record everything. So I've tried to watch as many games. Even now at work, like I'm either sneaking away to my office or watching them back on YouTube TV. I don't miss many games. Um, I'll miss the third place game. I don't, I don't care about that. But we're not here to talk
I
about that.
agree.
We're here to
No,
talk about soccer. Um, although you just mentioned that the White Sox were winning. What as I came downstairs to set up the stream, it was 1-1. I know Sam Antonacci had hit a leadoff home run for the White Sox. I'm like, oh, feels good. Good vibes all around. I come downstairs, they're like, they're winning 6-1. I'm like, what the hell happened? Not that I'm complaining, it's a good thing, but I'm like, how did I miss all of that in like the, 10 minutes that I was
I
going
love
from
it.
upstairs to downstairs.
I love it.
But yeah, so yeah, how do you want to go about this? We talked England, Mexico last game, and we kind of previewed that game and the United States game. I guess I want to start. I'm wearing the United States soccer shirt. I like this shirt too
It's a good
much not.
shirt. I
I
like
like
it.
this shirt too
Yeah,
much not to wear, even when they're out. It's
yeah.
got Ditka on it. It's got Will Ferrell on it. Um, so let's start there because I feel like the United States media in particular has been pretty critical about the way the United States kind of got bounced from the tournament. And now, with a couple more days of hindsight and the news that, Christian Pulisic had a micro fracture, whatever kind of injury he ended up having, I know a lot of people were critical on him, myself included, on the Bumcast on Monday. Um, but now, with a little bit more hindsight, how would you classify the World Cup as a whole for the United States men's national team, and then obviously the Belgium game?
Um, Everything was going good. Everything was like I had high hopes. I seen even a lot of non-soccer fans getting into it. I mean, there was like a whole bunch of high hopes for this team going into the Belgium game. I would assume Pulisic was going to be 100% from that calf injury he suffered from that Paraguay game. Um, the exciting news of Balogun ending up playing and starting. A lot of high hopes. which became a huge disappointment at the end of that game because that Belgium team we should have beaten.
Yeah.
There's and the fact that De Bruyne was on the bench, you had like basically, I mean, they had much more speedier, younger team. So I get that the way that the coach, what's his name, Garcia, he set up his team because he had to go younger. We were talking about how slow they were,
Yeah.
so he knew that he had to pick up the pace, and obviously he put in the right people. But the thing is we gave that game away, and we were talking back and forth. I think even more people who, again, they're not a soccer fan. They were saying that Tim Ream should never been in that team whatsoever, and he let up that one goal. He let up that first goal. He let up. I don't know what he was thinking about when it came to defense. Just play the ball. Even if it's an own goal, at least you're trying to defend it. He just let that slip through. That's something you can't do. The header, okay, I might give him the benefit of the doubt there because that dude's tall as fuck, and he's a pretty good player. But the fact that um and that third goal with Freeze, just let it. You can't
That
play
was a
the.
blooper. That was a blooper
Yeah, you
goal.
gotta hold on to the ball, and especially the fact that there's somebody coming at you. You can't be playing the ball like that. So there's just a lot of big dumb mistakes. I mean, it's just like minor league type of like mistakes. You can't be doing that in the World Cup, especially at the time, especially when you're home, when you're in Seattle. Like that place was rocking. Tillman, awesome, awesome free kick goal. I love that. I didn't think he was going to hit it, but that was such an awesome goal. Balogun, he had some opportunities. Pulisic, nowhere to be found. And I kind of said it prior. I still felt like he was injured. I still felt like there was something wrong with him. I don't know how you, for one half, that very first game, you were as an top-notch tier football player going through that Paraguay defense like nothing. And then after that, I get it that you got injured, but he was just never the same. I
Yeah.
just never saw it. And yes, I'm glad they're critical of them. You have to be. You can't be like, oh well,
Get him
we're
next
still
time,
growing.
boys.
No, not this time. This is different from '94. When the last time the United States was hosting. No more excuses. You have to start finding a way to develop talent, talent early. We talk about there's numerous people that were talking about the way how Germany set up their program when they got defeated early on, and they started putting up academies all over the place and start developing. Guess what happened in 2014? They won a World Cup. We got to figure out how to change this so that when we go into the round of 16, I know sometimes it's hard to even get to the round of 16, but when we do, we can move on. We could be on the top tiers of the Argentinas, the Englands, Spain's, and so on. Right now, I'm so glad that they're criticizing them. You know, uh, what was that famous women's soccer player? She was critical of
Oh,
Pulisic,
Carly
saying
Lloyd.
yes. She was mentioning how he was like saying like, oh, now I could like rest up. You rest up when you die, baby. Like
Yeah.
you have to be in. She and you know what? She's a champion. She's allowed to say stuff like that. She's been there. So I'm very like glad that they're coming down on them because they need to fix the system. I don't know if Pooch is going to be back. I'm not quite sure. He
Sounds
did
like no.
he did have mistakes also too, but he's not playing either. So I think there needs to be somebody. If you're going to have another coach in here, you have to hit a home run here. And you have to start developing more academies. I mean, I don't know. What are your thought processes of trying to change this? What path do you think we should be going here to get to that point where we're not being knocked out in the round of 16?
Yeah, I think obviously it's great that we're having the discussions. I actually really enjoyed Jason, Joey, and Dougie asking me soccer questions on the Bumcast on Monday. I didn't think we were gonna get like that deep into the weeds when they were asking me about how things can change and what can we do to get better. But I like that we're having those conversations as like a sporting nation, as fans of, the United States and wanting them to succeed in all sports. Because, if you go back to the post Dream Team basketball teams, they were in bad shape. They were in bad shape when like none of their stars wanted to play, and like they were in like, and they figured out like, hey, we got to bring our stars, and we're gonna have to beat some people up, and they figured out a way to kind of get that train back in motion. Obviously, it's different because you don't have the stars in the United States men's national team, but I think it might be a little bit of an overreaction. Now looking back at it, having like a week to digest it and kind of like overreacting, because we weren't talking about that leading into the Belgium game. I mean, the Paraguay game, the Australia game, even the Bosnia Herzegovina game, down 10 men. We were talking about this is a different looking team. They hold possession. They press. They're scoring a bunch of goals. Like they scored the most goals in the first half of games, leading up to that Belgium game. So like I feel like things were changing. The problem was that Belgium game left such a bad taste in everyone's mouth that like now everything that they built came crashing down. So now with a little bit of hindsight, I feel like we shouldn't be overreacting that much. But there is things that need to change. Obviously, like the Pulisic thing, talking about like now I can rest. Motherfucker, like you took off the Gold Cup last year because you said you wanted to rest and be ready for the World Cup. So now you don't get rest. You don't get to choose. Now you can't leave as like.
Yeah.
So it's like I know like his team has been really vocal and his family. I understand, right? Your family is going to defend you through thick and thin, but like them complaining about like the media coverage and like former players. Guess what? That's what former players do. Like the Landon Donovans of the world, the Tim Howards of the world, the Clint Dempseys of the world. You talked about Carly Lloyd. I saw Sydney LaRue was making a bunch of different comments on it. They've earned that right. The women's team have won. They know how to win. The other guys, whether it's Tim Howard, Clint Dempsey, or Landon Donovan, yeah, they didn't really win anything, but you can't tell me that those guys didn't like live and breathe and died with that national team.
They laid it all on
with
the line when they were out there.
with less talent. And I
Yes.
think that's what's frustrating. I think
Yeah.
the fact that the United States men's national team right now has so much talent across the board. Obviously, they're not as deep as other teams, right? The people coming off the bench aren't like, 1A to 1B. There's a step down. But when the bright lights were biggest, Serginho Dest was bad. Christian Pulisic was bad. Obviously, Tim Ream was atrocious. Matt Freese was terrible. There's a couple other players that we could point out. And don't get me wrong, Malik Tillman and Weston McKennie, I think, had unbelievable World Cups. There's some players that even when Belgium was whooping their ass, I thought, man, these guys are actually showing up. Tillman and McKinney for sure. I thought the subs that Mauricio Pochettino made were decent. It might have been a little too late, if you will. Like Berhalter, I feel like won a lot of people over, and that's
He's got a
someone
lot of
that
heart.
he's
a lot
got
of
heart
I like
because
him,
yeah, and that's like you need a little bit of that spark plug,
Yes.
if you will. But yeah, I think like people talking about the academies and the youth system has to change, and I agree with all of that. The fact that it is like a pay to play system, and between the loss and now, there's been TV shows, podcasts, everyone's talking about how to fix the U.S. system. I don't know if you have to go that far, but you have to kind of work on building from this, because I still think this was a successful tournament, all things considered. You won your group. You played with like a confidence and a style that you've never seen before from the United States team. That Paraguay game and the Bosnia game, those games you could like hang your hat and been like, the United States men's national team have never played World Cup games like that, and that's something you could build off of. So it's going to be a long 4 years, man. I think the coaching is going to be number one, paramount, and then how do you build this next generation up? Because right now you could argue that we're very much in the same boat that the golden generation of Belgium is at, 2 World Cups ago. The Kevin De Bruyne's, the Lukaku's, everyone that were, you know, thinking like, oh man, they're going to be good for a while. Now you see them, they're old, and it's like, they never really got much of anything. Pulisic's going to be 31. A lot of these players are going to be in their mid 30s. They're probably not going to be in the next World Cup cycle. So I want to see who they bring in starting now, starting like the next friendlies and the next, like Gold Cups and stuff like that. So
So
it's
you're
going to be
chalking it up like for the week that you said that you had to like that you could finally digest what happened. Is you're looking at it as like that 2014 game between Germany and Brazil, where Brazil was still a good team and they got whipped 7-1.
Yeah, so that's the thing, and it's funny you bring up that game. I think there's a case study to be made that obviously everyone knows that Brazil hasn't been the same since that World Cup. Brazil got neutered at that game. Their confidence, they've never played with the same joy, the same like jogo bonito. Brazil has been broken ever since that moment. There's an argument to be made that Germany has as well, because Germany's been bounced out early this tournament. They didn't really do much last tournament. They haven't been as good as, Da Machina or Die Mannschaft or whatever. Like, there's a couple of these old guard teams. Italy is obviously number one, where it's like a lot of these old guard teams aren't as good. I feel like everyone's coming back down to earth, and there's like college basketball and everything else. The parity is now moving up to where the Mexicos of the world, the Moroccos of the world specifically, even the United States men's national team, they can take a step up and kind of like get to that level. But the big boys are still the big boys. So we should talk about England, Spain, France, and Argentina, because the top four are unbelievably good soccer teams,
I'm
and
gonna
they've
love those
shown it.
games. Yes.
They've shown it. So let me bring
Yeah.
up the World Cup bracket. Johnny, me and you watched the England game last night at our uncle's house. Really good game. Really good. Like back and forth. I thought, Switzerland. Norway. I thought like they dominated that first half for a good portion of it. But at the end, like England just has the talent and the kind of grittiness to get past a team like Norway. I think both like Norway and even Switzerland in Sunday's game just lacked a little bit of experience, right? They just haven't been in these big games, and that's kind of what you need. And so the World Cup bracket is set for the Final Four. We're going to have a juggernaut of a game with France and Spain. I think everyone I talked to it like I've always had this as that bracket, and I think whoever wins that game wins the World Cup. But that's in my eyes. England and Argentina still have a lot to say about it. So yeah, what are you looking forward to? What do you got like penciled in as like, oh boy?
I mean, both of them. Both of them are. I mean, I just realized when like this morning that when I saw, wait a minute, England and Argentina, that has so much history.
Yeah, I saw your tweet
That
about it.
that
That was a
is
good tweet.
Yes, that is going to be must see TV. And again, I said it about the England and Mexico game where I'm like, if you're not a casual fan, if you don't watch soccer a lot, please watch that game because that's going to be the environment's going to be great. It's going to be fun. You're not going to be disappointed. These two games, you're not going to be disappointed. I haven't disappointed you guys before, and I'm telling you, with these two games, it's not. Let me go. Let me talk first with the France and Spain game. So France and Spain, it is France's speed, the goal scorers. They have tons of goal scorers on that team. You can barely even get a goal like past them. From the forwards, the midfielders, defenders, they are stacked from top to bottom. And I think with that and Spain's passing ability, Spain plays that Barcelona type of like game style. Like that's how they won 2010's World Cup using that Barcelona. That was actually like you could probably date that back to the Netherlands, starting with the Netherlands. Netherlands pretty much started it, where you're passing the ball, you're using everybody
The,
to win, to score
the total
goals.
football tiki taka.
Total football, yes, yes. Um, that's going to be incredible. Um, I have France winning that game, but it could go either way because like I said, the way that Spain passes the ball, it's flawless. They could do whatever they want. Cucurella is a defender and he plays like he's a midfielder. You know what I'm saying? And then Yamal as well too. Like he hasn't really I want to say like not lived up to his expectations, but like Mbappe and how he's doing. But those guys are seasoned veterans. Like he's still 18 years old. So, but he is definitely has that if factor, and I just haven't seen it from him yet. So the way that France is playing, I just feel like they have the experience. They've been to the past two World Cup finals. They have a lot of the same players that they had from that World Cup final from the last time, and they're just a juggernaut. Even their bench players are fucking good.
Yeah.
So I would say going into that game, I'm gonna favor France over Spain, but again, either team could win that game. What are your thoughts on that particular side?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because going into this tournament, shout out to our friends at Circus Sports Illinois. I put out my, baloney bum bets for the World Cup, and I had Spain winning the whole thing. And they just haven't looked like this Spain leading up to this tournament. And I think that you could take that both ways. Either they're just like a lion in sheep's clothing, and maybe they just haven't. They're waiting to flip the switch, or they just don't have it. I think Spain is getting to this point, not playing their best football. That's probably going to give them confidence because you're right. Lamine Yamal is still very dangerous and still very creative, but he really hasn't had that like dominant game. And the same thing goes with their goal scorer, Mikel Orizalba. He's got 4 goals, quiet 4 goals. Like he can flip the switch and have a hat trick in any game. Like he's just a poacher. He's very much like a Erling Haaland type of like he could score 3 goals on 4 touches the entire game. And if he does that during against France, France is in trouble. So I think like France is the best team. They on paper, eyeball test, stats, whatever you want to do, France is the best team left in this tournament. But Spain playing so like almost timid might be a good thing. Maybe France overlooks them looking forward to the final. Like everyone's like thinking, oh, Argentina, France, one more time, round 3 or whatever, and Spain can just come up and be like, hey, we're still fucking Spain. So I'm intrigued to see what shows up. And yeah, the one thing that Spain has is the ball possession. If they possess the ball and doesn't give, Mbappe and everyone in France like multiple chances, because that's where they kill you. France kills you on the counter attack and like if you give them extra possessions. If you don't do that, they're at least I'm not gonna say easier to beat, but at least you're giving yourself a chance. So I'm tactically just like as a soccer fan, like I'm very intrigued how they both show up for that game.
Yeah, and another thing too, France is the same thing. They got attackers, they got a midfield, and they got defense as well too, and possibly one of the best goalkeepers in the tournament as well too. So again, that could go either way. I'm very favorable on France right now because I got them in a work pool, so I hope that they go far. Um,
Fair, fair, fair.
Again, they are right now the dominant World Cup team so far in this tournament.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Jerry O'Sullivan says France has superstars on their bench who haven't sniffed the pitch all tournament. I said this as a joke yesterday while watching the game. We were there with a couple of our uncles, our cousin Mike, and a bunch of other people there. And I was telling Mike, France is so good that their bench is probably better than almost every other team in this tournament. And I was like, if the rumors are true that they want to expand the World Cup again, and like obviously it would benefit because like now, the Italies, the Polands, the Irelands, everyone with big fan bases maybe gets in finally. And I'm not saying I want the 64 team World Cup to happen, but if that's the case, let these big superpowers field more than one team. I would like to see a France B team or like a Germany B team, even though Germany lost early this year. But like, I feel like a couple of these squads could probably field multiple teams and still be better than like Curacao and things like that.
You know what? at first I'm like, what, how would that work? That could be actually very interesting to have the matchup, when like a first round matchup, put them in the same group and see who comes. Because that way you could be like, okay, there'll only be one France team moving on. You know what I'm saying?
That they France would never agree to that. I'm just thinking outside the box here,
No, but
baby.
now I'm thinking outside the box. Like, why don't you like, put them and be like, all right, who's the better squad on that
I
on that,
I honestly just want to see a France B team in this tournament because I mean they could go far.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I get it. I get it.
Greg's in the comment. 32 was perfect. I'll never get over expanding to 48. You know what, Greg? I was really vocal before the tournament started about me not liking the expansion and me thinking it was gonna water everything down. And I've said it before, hand up. I think I was wrong. I like the 48. I think it gave for really good storylines. I don't think the soccer was all that bad. You know, like that's what everyone was worried about, that there was going to be games that didn't matter. And there was a couple games in the group stages that you really didn't really care about. But the knockout stage, now being 32 teams or whatever, that was good. I enjoyed that. So even though I'm saying that, that doesn't mean I want it to change again. I'm not ready for another change after that. It's gonna take me a while to get used to the 48. Let's keep it like that at least for a couple more World Cups.
I agree. I think that I was the same way too. I thought it was going to be kind of like how the way that the NCAA tournament, basketball tournament is, where they had it at 64 and they moved it to 68. And I think now they're moving up to like 72 or something like that. So I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like you're just bringing in more like teams because you want that Cinderella story. I get that, but we got more soccer out of it. Like I'm not going to complain if we get more soccer out of it, and it gives you, you never know what might happen with some of these teams. Some of these teams might be like hot at the right time, and will upset
Yeah,
a Morocco or Portugal or whatever. Like that Cape Verde game. Like
could have
who would
happened.
have thought that Cape Verde was going to compete against Argentina? That might have been one of my favorite matches one of my favorite matches of the tournament. So, even though you might think that it might not be a good idea, which I thought it was as well too, just like a lot of other people, but I think sometimes it's good to have that because it kind of puts, some of these bigger teams are going to be like, we don't have to do too much against this team. This is like, 41st ranked team. Like what are they going to do to us? And look at what Cape Verde did to get against Argentina. So this 64 was it 64 or 68 whatever.
Yeah, they said
That
64.
might that might be way too. That's too much.
This is Gianni Infantino and FIFA,
Yeah,
putting the tea leaves out there. I have no idea how 64 would work. I don't want 64 to happen, Greg.
that's too much. Yeah, that's too much.
That was more Gianni Infantino and his bullshit, teasing it because he likes to, he likes the camera, he likes the microphone, he likes to get in front of things and kind of talk his bullshit.
Yeah.
So no, I would keep it at 48 at least for the time being, and like next, you know, 3 4 World Cups, keep it at 48, and we'll
Yes.
be happy. All right, let's get to this England Argentina game. Johnny, you mentioned it, and we talked about it earlier. You had that really good tweet. These guys, they have a history together. Obviously, the Maradona hand of God game, the Beckham red card game, and then again the revenge game, right? The Beckham penalty kick game.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so these guys have a ton of history in the World Cup. They have two of the most vocal fan bases going. It's just like passionate and every whatever adjective you want to use, good or bad, for both fan bases. It's gonna be hotly contested. I feel like both teams have kind of like a chip on their shoulder, not necessarily because people are overlooking them, but like the media really is penciling in on France Spain and saying like these two guys, whoever wins this side is gonna win. And me too. I just said it a couple minutes ago. So like they could use that as bulletin board material, and obviously they're both immensely talented. One being the reigning champion, and one's being the like inventors of soccer and saying they said it's been coming home for 40 goddamn years. Let's see if it is going to happen. But I'm excited about this game. I said it, Johnny, when we were watching the game yesterday. I'm just excited for Argentina to finally match up with someone that on paper is on their level because they've been getting away with some bullshit against the Cabo Verdes of the world. And no disrespect to Egypt or Switzerland, but like they just don't have the pedigree of these other teams. And I want to see if Argentina, even them being world reigning champions, they might be like paper champions because I really want to see them against a really good squad. And this is their first like real test, even though, they've barely squeaked by so far.
So yes, I would say this is like their first like test against a top five ranked team or 10 or whatever. Um, have you been impressed? But I'm thinking to myself, like, have we been impressed with Argentina? Because
I
I
have
mean,
not. I really haven't.
they, they, they,
I've been impressed with how they find ways to win. Their
yes,
grit and their never give up and their calmness when things go bad or when things like, later into games, they don't panic and that is a pedigree of a winning team. But I really do think a squad as talented as Argentina should be beating up on a couple of these, and they just haven't. They just haven't beaten up on anybody, and I'm like, they can't keep getting away with this.
yes, they've been squeaking by.
Yeah.
So the Argentina versus Egypt game, they should have lost that game. Yeah, Egypt just couldn't, and I think the writing was on the wall. I think that when Argentina started pressing and they started, just moving forward, they were just on fire at that 20 minutes. So, Egypt just had no answer for them. The game yesterday against Switzerland, they were down 10. They finally scored at the 10 minutes of the extra time.
Yeah.
This, no offense to Switzerland, I'm sorry, but you should have won that game easily, like two or 3-1 or 3-1 in regular time. Not, and you had 10 men down. That was another thing too. So, um, I just think like finally you're gonna see, and they're gonna have to prove it too, because the media has been all over Argentina saying, "Who have you faced?" At all. And yes, you've won, you've squeaked by, you've came back over adversity. I get that, and great teams do. But now you're facing a team that is stacked, and is a top 10 FIFA ranked team, and have been playing very well as well too. England has had adversity. They had to come back in games as well too. So
Battle tested.
they're battle tested, so they know how to win it in those situations. Look at the atmosphere they face in Mexico. That's not an easy game to play, where many teams have failed to win, and they went in and they won respectfully. And that Norway game as well too. Norway had chances. They had chances to win the game as well
Yeah.
too. And I gotta say, shout out to Norway. What a hell of a run for them. Um, Everybody loved Norway because of one person and one person only. I don't have to say his name because everybody knows. But hats off to them. But again, how I just tweeted this out, and like I said, when I woke up this morning, I said, "Man, England and Argentina." I mean, this thing dates back to like the 60s, where
Oh
they
yeah.
actually faced each other in the 66 World Cup, where actually England beat Argentina. It wasn't for the final or anything like that, but they actually, ended up winning. But there's also political history as well too. There is so much history dating back, and they've always had powerhouse teams back and forth, as in the 98 one, 2002, and so on. This is my, like, as much as I'm gonna love that France Spain game, this one is gonna be just like that Mexico England game. The fan environment's gonna be awesome.
The
They're gonna
atmosphere
be,
is going to be
and I
great.
feel like Argentina is gonna come out and be like, "What the fuck? We haven't faced anybody. All right, they have to bring it."
Yeah.
If they're hearing those critics, if they're hearing people in their ears saying like, "Who have you beat to get up to this point?" Okay, here's your test now. Let's see how well you do against an England team who is, quite frankly, I had them really high going this far, going into the World Cup, and they're no slouch. They have goal scorers. Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham. They've been playing like really really good in this tournament. But you have all the supporting cast as well too. So I'm very interested to see how Argentina, with all the critics, with all the teams that they played, how they play against an England team. And also on the other side, how well England uh, plays against Argentina. because everybody's critical about England, how they never can go far. They can never win uh, the World Cup. I mean, if you're going to show up and you're going to play, you gotta face the best teams in the world. And Argentina's still the best team. I'm not knocking them off of that, but I'm just saying that you have to come and bring it as well too. So there's a lot of storylines into this that I'm excited about, but this is definitely going to be by far, I would say, the best out of the two, as far as storylines and history and all that. So, but overall, I'm just loving the Final Four here. It's going to be great.
Jerry O'Sullivan rightfully
I
says
know, I know.
anyone but England.
Jared, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I get that.
I got bad news for Jerry. I think I got England winning this, and I got this
I think so too.
England
Yeah,
winning this comfortably. At least this game. Um,
yeah.
like you mentioned, the stars have shown up for England. I saw people criticism like, oh, they wouldn't have won without Harry Kane that one game. Yeah, that's what stars do. Is like they show up and they put teams on their back. Jude Bellingham did it against Mexico. Now did it again against Norway. He's a world class player, so that's what world class players do. But I think top to bottom, I think England just has had a better tournament than Argentina. You could talk about Declan Rice. I think Anthony Gordon has had a hell of a
That guy is
World Cup.
so quick, so
Anthony
quick.
Gordon. What was the do the Mexico coach? You're like
Fuck,
Gordon, fuck you.
hey, fuck you. Yeah.
I think about that all the time now. But Anthony Gordon's had a really good even whenever Bukayo Saka subs into the game or like
Another difference maker. Yeah.
he's a difference maker as soon as he's on the field. I'm a big. I know people are critical of Bukayo Saka. I think he's really really good. So I think England has enough to win this game, and I think they're going to win this. Not like they're not going to blow Argentina out, but I think
It'll be tight.
it'll be a comfortable win for England.
Yeah.
You know what I'll say? England wins in regulation. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm
I,
excited
I,
about
I have
that.
I have England winning as well too.
And then do we just have? It's hard not to predict France to win, right? Like, do you have France winning it all?
Yes. I mean, they've been. I mean, going into this World Cup before this even started, they just have stars all over the place. All their players play in the top-notch European teams all over the place at PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona. I mean, they have everywhere. I don't know Barcelona, but anyways, they have just stars all over the place, and they've definitely showed up in this World Cup. They played a little. I would say that Morocco game, and I kind of felt like it was going to be kind of very close, anyways, because Morocco's such a great team too, but they were hurt, so I didn't think that. I think that was like a little bit of a difference on that part, but um, again, France won that game, and they just been nonstop. They have the speed, they have the talent, they can score at any given time. Um, and I just think it's just too much for any team. I mean, it's looking like you just know. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if it's
Yeah.
you feel that way as well too. Like I knew that Spain was going to win in 2010. I knew Germany was going to win in 2014. You just have that feeling because they have that momentum and they just have the stars left to right. Don't get me wrong. Every other team has stars as well too. France is just built different.
Yeah. No, I agree. I got I got the golden boot race up just to talk about that for a little bit because we talked about last time we did the soccer show about how it's been a World Cup of stars, right? There's been some really good stories. There's been some really good standout players, but for the most part, I mean, the stars showed up. You know, Kylian Mbappe, Messi, Holland, Kane, Bellingham, Dembele. Like those are just the upper echelon of world class talent. I think the Golden Boot. Kylian Mbappe is at a point where like he is so dynamic. I don't know how you stop him. Whenever he puts on that France jersey and plays in the World Cup, he's borderline unstoppable. This is not like a Harry Kane, Erling Haaland situation where he needs to be fed balls or he needs to poach something inside the box. Like he's doing it everywhere. He's doing it on the left. He's doing it on the right. He's scoring from close range, headers. He's had some really good outer outside the box, just like snipes. I just don't know how you stop him. I don't know how. It's going to be interesting to see how Spain tries to match up against them. But yeah, the Golden Boot race. I think it's Mbappe's to lose. I just don't think anybody catches him. But Bellingham's been making a case of it because he's a hot hand of late. So we'll see if Kane and Bellingham can get on the score sheet once or twice against Argentina. Then it'll make for a close race, leading up to the final. But yeah, it's been a tournament of stars.
Kind of gonna put my hand over my mouth here with Mbappe.
That's a red card.
How come
That's
how come I don't see this in Real Madrid? But uh
it's a great question.
yes. If you looked at if you can you pull that up real quick
Yeah.
again? If you look at that again, you see the talent of the countries here. France has two goal scorers up there. England has two goal scorers up there. There's a
Yeah.
reason why they know how to finish games because they have difference makers on their team that can score at any given moment. So that's why, I kind of favor, England over here. Like, don't get me wrong, Messi's great, but I mean, who else is going to come and step up? And I'm not saying that they don't have great players, they don't have strikers, they don't have people who can be difference makers, but the fact in this tournament, this is where I'm coming with, like, where I think like France and England are going to meet in the finals, and they just have the top tier talent right now that can be World Cup champions either way. Um, I think I would assume that Mbappe is gonna win this Golden Boot. Like I think he's
Yeah.
gonna score like another goal or two here to kind of like just take the lead. But who knows? I think Bellingham could sneak up as well too. I think he could come up and score
Yeah, he
two,
scores
two
another.
goals.
He's been
Yeah,
scoring. He's been scoring goals in bunches. He scores another 2 against Argentina, and all of a sudden he's got 8 with another game to play. So, yeah,
yeah.
it's still wide open. And I do agree with you. Like, obviously, Messi is he's the star of the World Cup. He's the star of soccer in general. But like, even like Martinez for Argentina, or who am I thinking of? Oh my God! It's Julian Alvarez.
Alvarez, yeah,
They're
yeah.
they're really good goal scorers,
Yes.
but a lot of the time they're looking to pass to Messi first before like it's okay to be a little bit selfish, especially you
Yes.
might have to get a little selfish when it comes to the semifinals and finals of a World Cup, to where like it's always Messi first, Messi first, Messi first. It wouldn't hurt to be a little bit
You
more
can't rely
selfish.
on him all the time.
Yeah.
You got to step up.
So it'll be interesting to see. I'm excited about these games. It's been a really good World Cup, and I feel like it's gonna be the cherry on top these next 2 games. But yeah, that's all the World Cup talk we have for today. We got some news. We're gonna break this on Monday, but I might as well just play it now. We got Tequila at Comiskey coming up. RSVPs are open. I put tequila above whiskey at
tequila
Comiskey
at Comiskey. Okay.
because we've got our friends at Manuscrito Tequila and Tejitas Tequila on tap for July 25th against the Astros in La B. Of course, the food will be provided by TasteRealChicago.com and all the good people at JP's Graziano's. We've got off hours as well, the good people at the Ramova, always bringing the beers. And Hot Butcher has just signed on, and they're bringing their delicious beers. The people at Hot Butcher were at our opening day tailgate. They had such a good time. They said, how can we be involved? And we're happy to have them on board. So it's a full lineup, including the Malort Princess and Jepson's Malort. It's going to be an awesome time. July 25th. RSVPs are now open. And I just realized this, Johnny. We might have to talk a little bit longer because I got a goddamn sponsor for this podcast and I didn't play their ad. So you know what I'm
Oh
gonna
my
do? That's
gosh.
hand up. That's on me, my
We
man.
we got
Yumper.
excited with the soccer stuff.
We got excited with the soccer. Let's talk about Penguin Imprints. Penguin Imprints is an independent print and custom apparel shop specializing in direct-to-consumer orders. From file prep to final cut, every order is treated like it matters and not rushed through mass production like other print houses. From sticker packs to t-shirts, custom artwork, and more, Penguin Imprints has something for everyone. Make sure to keep an eye on their socials for all their latest releases. Penguin Imprints is a proud sponsor of The Bologna Show. Head over to penguinimprints.com and type in promo code Bologna for 20% off your purchase. Promo code Bologna, 20% off. If you follow them on like Instagram and Twitter, they're doing some really cool like laser etched glass work and stuff. I need a couple tequila bum and bourbon bum glasses from my guys at Penguin Imprint. So Yumper, I'm gonna get in touch with you on that. They got like flasks that you could laser etch, leather coasters and wood coasters, doing a bunch of crazy work. So it's really cool. Hope to get some of those, so I could show you guys on camera. But yeah, I should have played that ad in the beginning of the show. But since we don't have any nerd news and we haven't been doing any like classic baloney show stuff, I got excited to talk soccer. I'm sorry, I don't get to do this much on the Bumcast or any other time. So it's World Cup season. It's winding down, but we're still probably gonna do one more, right? We got to talk about talk about those third place games and the final. So we're gonna do one more, baloney soccer show or the Chicago Sports Bums soccer show to wrap up, and then I'll get back to the baloney show standards. I keep teasing about Clem; he's still involved. I got a couple more guests lined up. I got one I can't announce yet, but I'm efforting. I think it's gonna happen. I can't wait to tease that. That's a tease. That's nothing more than a
hints.
Tease.
You can't give us any hints at all.
If you guys go on our Instagram page, it's one of our Instagram stories right now. So that's
All right.
that's a tease.
Well, we'll take a look at it then.
All right, Johnny. Always fun to talk soccer with you. We've been talking soccer all World Cup, and I just don't want it to end. So we're gonna have to come back next week.
I'm down to clown.
Thank you to Jerry O'Sullivan. Thank you to Greg in the comments. HBIC was in there early. We'll see you guys on Monday for the Bumcast, and then back next week for the Baloney Show. We'll smell you later.
Goodbye for tonight. Know that I'll see you